my husband Evan Carmichael, and how to use success of others to succeed your life. Enjoy! Okay, let's kick it off with rule number 1, model success.
The fastest path for you to get the success you're after is to model success. The idea here is simple. You find people who have already done the thing that you want to do, learn from them, understand what they did to get there, and then try on their hat, right? See what worked for them and apply it to your business. This is what worked for me. This is what saved my company. Bill Gates saved my first company, even though I've never met him. I haven't yet. We're gonna make it happen, hopefully soon. I was struggling. I had a upstart software company that wasn't making money, and I quit on my business partner, and I woke up the next day and said, I need to find a way to make this happen. I can't quit on this too soon because I'm going to regret it if I don't keep going. And so I said, who has done this before? Who's done this? And I thought of Bill Gates. It was just the first person that came to mind was Bill Gates. So I looked at his story and how did he build Microsoft? Well, it was through partnerships. And so I started making partnerships in my business. I had nothing else to lose. I was already at rock bottom, right? I had already quit on my partner. It was hopeless. So let's just give this a shot. And within, I don't know, a couple months, maybe even sooner, I landed my first partnership deal for $13,500. And at the time, guys, I was making $300 a month. So that money meant the world to me. Like that was bank. And more important than that, it gave me hope, like this could happen. This business could actually work. And it gave me a model to then go and do it again and again and again. And ever since then, whenever I don't know what to do, I model success. I find someone who's done it and I try to apply their strategies and make it work for me. But this is the important thing. Not every strategy is going to work the same way for them as it did for you. So maybe waking up early is your ticket. Maybe waking up later is going to be your ticket. There's people who've done both. Which is the one that's going to work for you? You won't know by sitting on the couch and thinking about it. The best thing you can do is just go and try. You try on their hat, right? Bill Gates did this. Dan Lok does this. Bruce Lee does this. Awesome. Try it. Try it and see. People prejudge so early. You have to change your habits. If you want to get something more than you have right now, it's because you're doing something different than what you're doing right now. And different is scary. Different means you don't know if it's going to work out or not. Different is different. We don't want to do different, right? You want to stay inside our comfort zone. That's not where your success is going to come. But not everything you try is going to work. Even the ones that do work won't work 100%. The way that Bill Gates did partnerships in his business is different than the way that I did it. But just that idea alone took me 80% of the way. Modeling success takes you 80% of the way. And then that final 20% is you got to make the adjustments to make it your own. Because otherwise you just end up being a junior version of somebody else instead of being you. But I think we're too often just judging people. You're judging a strategy saying, well, that's not going to work for me without even trying it. And so I have this channel where you can learn from people every day. I have my top 10 rules where you can watch those videos and learn from people every day. If you watch a top 10 video, these are 10 rules for some of the most successful people on the planet in the history of humanity. Here they are with 10 different lessons. Not all of those 10 lessons have to work for you, have to apply to you. Take one of them, take two of them, and just do something. Just apply it to your life, apply it to your business, and see if you get a result. That's the key. And so you need to get out of your head. You need to get out of your own way, and you need to just start doing. The best thing you can do is go from idea to action. When you see something that kind of makes sense, that might be a fit for you, just start doing it. Stop judging, start doing it, and apply it to your business and see if it works. Give it a shot.
If you want to have more confidence and motivation, check out our 254 series. The link is in the description below.
For me, my goal is to help the billion entrepreneurs. And so I always want to work on projects that have the ability to have a massive impact. That's what I strive for every single day.
You have to enjoy what you're doing. You have to wake up and look forward to the day that is ahead. If you're doing work that you love, you're more likely to follow through. You're more likely to do it because it doesn't feel like work, because you love doing it.
Rule number 2, learn.
Reading should not be your priority. Learning should be your priority. There used to be only a small number of ways to learn. It used to only be reading or maybe going to lectures and learning from people, but reading was one of the fastest ways to learn because you could take somebody's life and in one book condense the whole thing, all of the lessons, and here you go, chance to learn. Now though, there's so many different ways to learn. There's podcasts, there's videos, and so you need to understand what is the best way that you learn. Reading does not have to be in your top priority, but learning has to be. The difference between where you are today and where you will be in 5 years, that growth will be in direct relation to how much you learn, how much you feed this brain right here with knowledge that shifts the way you think, but it doesn't have to come from reading. So looking at my story as an example, I used to read all the time. Growing up, I used to read. I'm 39 now, so I used to read a lot. Growing up, it was the only way to learn. And the idea of being able to look at any famous entrepreneur and look at their story and how they got started, that was a lot of knowledge. That allows you to step into somebody's world, right? If you don't like your environment, you don't like the people around you, you don't want to become your parents or the people in your community, you want something better, you want something bigger, then you need to start to surround yourself with those people. And reading is a great way to step into their world. And so I used to read every single week. Not quite every day, but almost. I was reading a lot. I was voracious. But as soon as video came out, I quickly shifted. I would much rather watch a video than read a book. I just learn better that way. I would much rather have an Elon Musk video and watch him and see him tell his story and look at the body language than I would reading a book about somebody else telling Elon Musk's story. That's me. That's how I learn. I listen to 0 podcasts because auditory is the slowest way for me to learn. If it was the only way, if the only way to learn was to listen to podcasts, and I would be all over it and I would force myself to do it because I love learning. But because there's so many different options and I love video first, I default to learning through video like this. Videos like this on my multiple channels. And so video is by far number 1 for me, and I consume video pretty much every single day of my life. Number 2 would be reading, and a huge drop down to number 2. I'll read maybe 3 to 4 books a year. And then number 3 would be auditory, which would be podcasts, and I consume 0 podcasts. I don't know that I've listened to an entire podcast all the way through. It would have to be some person that I can't find the video or a book on, and the only information, the only way to get it is to listen to a podcast. So the point of all this is not to slam on podcasts or audiobooks. I have my own audiobook. I read it myself. It's fire. If you love learning from auditory, then you should go and go all in on that. The point is to prioritize learning. You need to have learning as a regular part of your life. If you do not learn consistently, then you will end up in the same spot you are, right? You will be in the same spot you are in 5 years if you do not learn. But it's figuring out where do you learn best and going all in on that strategy. So what's the best way for you to learn? I'm going to give you a 3-step process that I think will help. Step number 1 is, who do you want to learn from? You want to learn from people who've done more than you have in a certain field or industry, right? If you want to learn to be a better parent, a better husband, a better wife, a better entrepreneur, a better salesperson, a better marketer, who's the person that you want to learn from? And it doesn't mean you have to become that person. The goal isn't to be the next Steve Jobs. It's to learn one thing from Steve Jobs that makes you a better version of you. So who is the person that you most want to learn from right now? Step number 2 is identify, how do you learn best? How do you learn best? I don't care what other people are doing. Do you learn best through videos? Do you learn best through reading? Or do you learn best through auditory, listening to podcasts and audiobooks? How do you learn best? And then number 3 is create a regular learning schedule. If you know who you want to learn from, the types of people, and you know your learning style, then what's your ongoing regular learning schedule? It has to be in your week, every single week. Whether that's a daily thing, whether you make that part of your daily routine, I'm a big fan of that. Otherwise, it's got to be somewhere in your week. You will never learn the material that you want to learn. You will never be able to emulate and model somebody else's success to turn you into the best version of yourself if you don't have that as a part of your regular week, right? Your actions need to map to your ambitions. What's in your calendar has to map to you accomplishing the goals that you want. If you just have goals, if you just want to learn, you want to become that person, but it's not in your schedule anywhere, you're never going to become it.
Now I've got a very special bonus clip on alter your environment that I think you're gonna enjoy. But before that, it's time for the question of the day. Who's the person that you want to model success today? Leave in the comment below. And if you made it this far in the video and you promise to take action after watching. We don't just watch video, we do something. I want to celebrate you. Give me a hashtag believe in the comment below.
Your environment has been perfectly designed to keep you exactly where you are. The people you hang with, the videos you watch, the media you consume, all of it are perfectly designed to keep you exactly where you are right now today. If you want to raise your standards, it starts by raising your environment first. So a friend of mine and friend of the channel, Mark Drager from Fanta, gave me a really warm message yesterday, and he thanked me for helping start the process for him to turn from being a pessimist to an optimist, from being somebody who was always worried and negative to somebody who's having more energy, who's seeing the light, who's becoming more optimistic, who still has a road to go, but is so far further along than where he was before. And he wrote to me to say thank you for starting me down this path. He said there was one conversation in particular that had special meaning to him, where I told him that I just really believed in him, that I saw a lot of the people around him, I saw a lot of his peers, and I just thought that he had so much more potential than where he was. And I think maybe for the first time he had an extra bolt of belief pushed into him, which is what I do, which is what I'm great at, which is what I enjoy doing. But fast forward to now, 6 months, 8 months later, he's made major gains in his life. He's brought on new team members. He's now consuming other content that is positive and optimistic. He's changing his business around. He's investing more in himself. He's happier. He's lost a lot of weight. He's growing. He's wanting to strengthen his relationships. He's just seen a big shift in his life by trying to move more into optimism instead of pessimism. And so it started with my conversation with him. He then promoted somebody within his organization to become COO, whose name is Louis, and he's also a massive force for good and positivity. He started consuming Gary's content, which is positivity. He started consuming Tom Bilyeu's content, which is positivity. He started now injecting all these people and resources into his life to make him feel more positive, more optimistic, more happy, give him more energy so that he has that to go take on his goals and the challenges out in front of him, and slowly move that needle from being a pessimist to an optimist. I don't think people are pessimists, to be honest. I think everybody is born an optimist. I don't think people are born negative. I think that's trained into you. I think you're a pessimist and negative because of the circumstances you had and what was planted in your brain by the people around you. I think people are good. I think humans are just good. I think if we weren't good, we wouldn't be here anymore. 99.99999% of people are good. Right? Some people have a little bit of a miswiring up there and it causes them to enjoy killing people, but for the most part, we're good. I also believe that people are built to serve. I believe that you get happiness from helping others, by being of service to others. That's what actually makes you happy. There aren't very many happy moments in your life that didn't involve somebody else. You were helping, you were serving. They've shown the effect on your brain of serving and helping somebody is the same as food and sex. We're literally hardwired to help others and to serve. And so if you believe, like I believe, that humans are good and humans are built to serve, then what would cause somebody to be pessimistic and negative? How sad of an upbringing does that person have to have had? The programming that was installed inside them by other people who just were negative and down on their life, but weren't inherently bad people. The people who stole from my car in LA, the guy who cut me off in traffic yesterday, I don't think they're bad people. I still think they're good people who are built to serve. Just circumstances and conditioning have led them down a negative path. And so the good news is you can get out of it, just like my friend Mark has, who was someone who was sworn to say, I'm a pessimist, right? I just default to negativity, to now seeing the shift by changing the people he's surrounded himself with, by altering his environment, by consuming content that is more positive. He's already seen a noticeable shift over the past X number of months, and that's going to continue to grow. That could be you too.
If you want to learn the skill everybody who wants success to develop, check out the video next to me. I think you're gonna enjoy. I will see you there. Continue to believe.